Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Papa Boris here, playing some more Into the Breach. That noise you might hear in the background, I don't know if the mic's picking it up, is my baby monitor, so I might have to stop abruptly if the baby wakes up, but he's napping for now, so let's go ahead and give this a shot. In the previous video, we won with the Riftwalkers and collected some coins. Remember, every achievement that you make gives you a coin, and you need to spend coins to unlock squads. We're going to go ahead and unlock the cheapest squad here. Of the 7 you can unlock, there are 3 that I really like. The other 4 are fine, I don't hate any of them, but there's 3 that I like especially, and one of them is actually the cheapest one, the Rusting Hulks. We got an achievement for unlocking a new squad, which pays back half the coins that we spent to unlock that one. So, let's go ahead and select the Rusting Hulks. I'm going to put Henry, our traveler from the previous mission, into the Pulse Mech, which I will just call the Science Mech, because it is a Science class mech. And I'm not going to explain any of the weapons or anything until we actually start, because you kind of need to be... You need to be in the game to be able to see the upgrades, and I find that the upgrade path of a weapon is kind of an important thing to talk about when you're talking about the weapons, so let's go ahead and dive into it. If you're having a hard time beating the game, this is a really great squad I recommend to try beating it with, because they're very simple, very strong. It's probably why they cost 2 coins. I find that the coin cost is not necessarily a measure of power, but of simplicity of play. Now, all 4 islands are unlocked, and one of the important things to look at is the threat scanner. I know I can't move my mouse, because if I move my mouse it goes away, but if you look at the bottom of the box, the threat scanner tells you what kind of enemies you're going to face. And in particular, I recommend looking at the boss, which is called the leader, and the Scion. So in this one, you can see we have the Scion that gives everybody armor, and the boss is that blob, which I really hate. This one, the boss is a scorpion, and the Scion is the blast one. I don't like that one either. It's the one that makes enemies explode when they die. Really tough to deal with. In this level, the Scion is one that regenerates, and the boss is a hornet, which is just fine by me. Let's take a quick look over here. Here, the boss is a Scion, which gives everybody bonuses. Like, I think it's like exploding, regenerating, and bonus health. Or maybe armor. I can't remember what the 3 bonuses are. And then the regular Scion is the one that gives everybody an extra hit point. So these 2, in my opinion, are the easiest 2. And there could be some depth to it. Maybe I'm like overrating how hard the blobs are. But typically for my first mission, I don't want the armor Scion or the blast Scion. And I really do not like the blob boss. So we're going to go here to this Iceland. And let's take a look at our missions. So pretty straightforward. I like to try to get as many stars as possible, of course. Let's take a look at what the actual things are. Kill all enemies. That's a tricky one, especially when you're just starting out. This squad is actually not bad at killing them all, but I really don't like having to kill them all. It's kind of scary. This one is freeze and defend both robots. It's a tough mission, but we're going to have to do it at some point anyways. Let's take a look at this one. Kill at least 7. That is much better than kill them all. So let's go ahead and just go for this one. And oh wow, this is nice. Since it's our first mission, they go real softball on us with just a single enemy besides the 2 robots. So let's go ahead and place our mechs. I'm not going to think about this too much. We'll just kind of put them in nice central locations. Start. And then take a look at the weapons. Oh right, I should have actually looked at the weapon before going in, because we can't see the upgrade paths of the weapons. After making a big deal about how we have to look at the upgrade paths, I make it impossible for us to look at the upgrade paths. Good job, Boris. Okay, so this is actually kind of a bitch situation. Damn. Oh my god. Okay, well anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. So let's go ahead and take a look at our mechs. So this mech is the star of the show, the artillery mech. Its weapon is incredibly good. It deals 2 damage at range. It's the artillery type, so it cannot target enemies adjacent to you, but still 2 damage and a push is incredible. It's like one of the best weapons in the game, just in terms of pure raw starting power. But the really great thing about this weapon, or this mech, is that it has this passive, which means that enemies that start their turn, or at the start of the enemy turn, every enemy that's in smoke takes 1 damage. And this is enemies only, so your squad members, if they're in smoke, they don't take damage. They still suffer the regular effects of smoke, which is not being able to repair or attack if they're in smoke, but they don't take the damage from it. Now what this means is that the airplane, which is a brute, and has this smoke bomb attack, which hops over an enemy, deals a damage, and puts smoke onto that square, is actually 2 damage, because it does 1 damage up front and then another damage from the smoke at the start of the enemy turn. this cancels the enemy's attack and makes this an incredibly flexible and powerful weapon, because it deals 2 damage, which is great for a starting weapon, and if it doesn't kill the enemy, it at least cancels their attack. You can also upgrade this to have a range of 2, so it jumps over 2 squares and deals 1 damage and smokes 2 squares. So between these 2 mechs, you have a really, really strong squad. The mechs each deal 2 damage. It's not common that you get a squad where 2 mechs at the outset can each deal 2 damage before any upgrades. And there's a lot of flexibility. Here, this weapon has long range, 2 damage, and a push, and then this one cancels attacks and deals 2 damage. Now, this guy's weapon also farts smoke. And I think one of the main areas of skill in this game is realizing, like, or remembering to use this ability, because usually you look at this and you think, oh, this is just for the 2 damage at range, but sometimes farting smoke right behind you and canceling an enemy attack and dealing 1 damage to them with the electric smoke is actually the best thing that you can possibly do for yourself. Now, a lot of squads in the game have 2 really good mechs and 1 kind of weak link, and the weak link is definitely the science mech. All this does is just push all adjacent tiles. It's pretty marginal. If you do have an experienced returning pilot, putting them into this mech is pretty good, because this mech with this push is going to have a harder time getting experience since it doesn't have a killing attack. Now, this squad is actually pretty good at leveling up their weak link, because when you kill enemies in smoke, they die at the start of their turn, which shares the experience among all the squad members. So putting so this mech has an easier time leveling up than the weakest link mech in other squads. But if you do have an experienced hero who's max level, putting them into this mech makes a lot of sense, so that the inability of this mech to level by itself is minimized. And Henry, the guy who can move through all units, is a pretty good fit for this mech, because you want to be able to move through things sometimes to push them out of tough spots. So here we have to freeze and defend both robots. It's going to be kind of tricky to do this, but I think what I might do is just push this guy here so his attack whiffs, then freeze the other guy from this square, and then just kill this thing with one of my other mechs, and maybe block a spawn. So let's do it like this. We'll put our push guy... Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, let's put our push guy here. Who am I going to use? I think I'm going to just use my airplane to block a spawn. Then we push. Then we go here to freeze this guy. Then we go here. You know what? Hold on a second. Oh, I can't undo the move because I already shot. I should have probably blocked this square. You want to leave the backwards spawns when possible, because it's harder for the enemies to get into position. Anyway, we'll just put this here, shoot and kill that guy, and that's a pretty good turn. You have an action available, can't do anything though. The one weakness of this plane is he only has 2 hit points, so you know that's unfortunate. But you can work around that and eventually upgrade his health by 2 and make the most of it. Okay, so far so good. This is actually really not too bad right here, because I can simply freeze my other robot, completing my other objective, and I can go to this square and repair. My push bot's not got anything to do, so he'll just go here to block a spawn, and then you can shoot and kill this other enemy. Okay, nothing else for me to do, so I'll end the turn. This ended up being a very nice first mission, a very soft mission with only 1 enemy besides the 2 robots at the start. Okay, well here, I think we're going to use an old trick of mine. We're going to take this robot and sacrifice him just to block a spawn. I wish these 2 guys could trade places. Hold on a second, there might be a way to do this. Maybe if I do it like this, if I go here, and then oh, this guy can't stand here because then he'll die. Right, he needs to repair himself. Okay. I can't undo because I repaired. Alright. You know what, we'll just have to let an enemy spawn, that's fine. So we'll use you to sacrifice, block that spawn. You're going to repair so you can keep on blocking, and then you are going to go here. Actually, can you get behind? No. One nice thing about this brute, the jet mech, is that it actually starts with a movement speed of 4, which is very nice as well for a starting mech. So here, cancels the attack, deals the damage, and the smoke will actually kill it off. Alright, everyone done everything that you can. Great, let's end the turn. Okay, so all we got is one little spider here. Not a big deal. And yeah, let's just kill this thing off. Bonk. Nice and easy first mission. Maybe I should have done that kill everything mission. If it was going to be set up as easy as this one, then I would have wanted to take care of it now. Okay, let's take a look at the upgrade paths. So with this squad, what I like to do is get the +1 range bonus for my jet, even though it costs 2. I find that it's really great to be able to reach things from 2 squares away. And then it spends 3 power cores to actually upgrade the storm generator so that enemies take 2 damage when they're starting their turn in smoke instead of 1. I'm not sure that that's optimal, but it's what I like to do, because when you upgrade this, it effectively upgrades the damage of this by 1. So this starts to deal 3 damage total instead of 2. And it also upgrades the smoke fart of the artillery by 1, which is sometimes useful. And then after that, of course, it's your typical thing. You want to, of course, get the move upgrade on anything with a movement of 3. Getting 2 power cores for 1 damage isn't as great as the best mechs in the game, but it's not bad either, because some mechs have 3 power cores for 2 damage in a single upgrade. Here it's actually going to be 4 power cores for 2 damage, but hey, being able to deal 4 damage is pretty damn good. And then for this mech, when you get its +1 damage, he also gets to do 4 damage. 2 up front, and then 2 from the electric smoke if you've upgraded the storm generator. So you can see most upgrades are actually going to these 2 mechs. Our weak link here, honestly, doesn't really... I've never bothered with these shields. I just don't think it's that relevant at all. Shielding friendly is certainly interesting, because sometimes you can't cancel an enemy's attack, and just putting a shield on a building is nice. There aren't a lot of effects in the game that give you reusable shields, so there is some merit to this. I just find that, you know, getting the damage upgrades is much more significant. And my boy Henry here has a +1 mech move and +1 mech HP, so I don't need to worry about getting these upgrades, because he essentially already has those from being a returning pilot, so he might not get any power cores for a long time. Okay, what do we got here? Take less than 3 grid damage. I'm gonna have to take one of these star and battery missions at some point. Let's go ahead and just do this one because it's an easy one. I mean, I'd have to have like a brain injury to take 3 grid damage on this one. These guys start out in ice for some reason, and they are enemies, so I'm not going to get them out of the ice. We got our leapers, so I don't want to get anybody frozen. I could actually put my Jack Mech and try to like entice a leaper to come next to me so that I can then jump over them, but I'm not sure there's really much value to that. I can just let the leapers attack this thing and jump over them then. Although if a leaper jumps into this spot, it's actually really difficult to deal with, because I don't have anything right now that can damage it without damaging one of these robots and breaking them out of the ice, because the artillery pushes. I'd have to actually fart smoke behind me, which then I might not be able to hit anybody with the actual attack. Okay, fine. We'll entice the leapers to come to this jet mech, but we'll put the other people out of reach of the leapers' attacks. That's an easy way to start to get a little bit better at this game. It's just to think about the enemies that have web attacks and making sure that they can't freeze anyone who you really don't want to have frozen. So see here, like having a +1 range would be pretty amazing. I could get both of these guys. Actually, I could just kill them both in one action. That would have been pretty phenomenal. As it is, hang on, my phone's ringing. Oh, okay, hang on a second. It's my father-in-law. I should probably pick this up. Hey, Tony. What'd you forget? Oh my god. You... Yeah, come on by. Yeah, Seiki's downstairs. Okay. Alright, see you in a bit. My father-in-law was visiting. Super cool guy. Forgot his lemon bars, so he's gonna have to come back and get those. Alright, so I think my cannon mech, my artillery, should probably kill this spider. The question is, can I deal with all the other stuff? And the answer is yes, I can. I won't block any spawns, but there's only 2, not really the end of the world, so we'll do it like this. I'm gonna go here. We'll push, kill the spider, and we'll do it like this. I did it in this order because my science mech has a max level pilot, so I want to give the 2 experience to my jet, which is obviously not at max level, and then I'll actually go step forward The reason for that is so that when I fart smoke, it is in front of this power plant that we're supposed to protect. It probably doesn't matter in this mission because with only 2 enemies spawning, it's pretty easy to take care of a business. But, you know, if it had been a harder mission, putting smoke in a square so that enemies can't ever stand on it to attack a building is nice. Okay, we got an enemy in this square, which is very irritating. I could kill it, but that would break the robot, one of the robots out of the ice. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just waste a shot, farting smoke on it to cancel its attack, prevent other enemies from getting on this square, and it'll deal 1 damage to it. The Hornet I will just kill. And then you are just going to block a spawn. Okay, so you die, and that's nice. The 2 mechs who need experience get the experience. The game doesn't do that, that's just lucky. Alrighty. That's fine, he'll take care of it. Oh, perfect, he even gets to jump on a square and block a spawn. Beautiful. Okay, can I get to this guy with my thing? I can, but maybe I'd rather have my jet get this experience. Oh, he's webbed, right. Okay, so we'll do this. You will go here to kill this guy. And I'll put him forward. And again, an easy thing in general, if you're trying to get better, is try to block the spawns that are closer to the buildings, because sometimes if something is farther back, it can't even get to a useful square. Alright, well, let's just keep it real simple here. Oops, not repair, I want to attack, and then it'll die. Don't need to do anything, you don't need to do anything. We are good to go. Again, those guys get the 2 experience. That is quite fortunate. Okay. So, we got the mission in good order. Let's take a look at this one. Defend both robot factories. Oh, this is a tough one. This is the one that spawns the robots, and they activate after a turn and start to attack you. Ah, is that easier or harder than killing everything? Well, I'm going to have to do both of these missions if I want to maximize my star gain. So let's go for the robot factories. You can see the first mission with this squad is relatively easy because when you have 2 different mechs who can do 2 damage apiece, everybody but the Fireflies that start with 3 health, you can just kill. So it's not even like that much of a tactical game at that point. It's just killing things. This is a tricky one. With a movement of 4, this sleeper can get pretty much anywhere. I'd have to put my guys in like a row to avoid them getting webbed, which I think is worth it. Let's put the no, hang on a second. Let's not put the artillery up front. Let's put the jet up front so that the jet can just hop over the leaper and kill it if the leaper ends up freezing him. So I have to thank a YouTuber, a YouTube commenter, who pointed out that you don't actually have to pick up these time pods in order to get them at the end of the mission. I did not know that. That's pretty sweet. Picking them up has an advantage because obviously it reduces the likelihood that they'll get damaged at some point later on. But you don't actually have to pick them up. As long as they are undamaged at the end of the mission, then you're fine. Okay, so let's see how we want to handle the situation. I'd like to kill all these enemies. The regenerating Scion is not relevant as long as I kill them. However, if I try to smoke this thing with my jet, I believe it will not die. I believe it will regenerate before the smoke finishes it off, although I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so what can I do? Well, I can just go here and push them, and that will allow me to fart smoke onto the spider and shoot this one with my artillery mech, leaving my jet free to kill this robot. I think that's a decent plan. There might be a better plan, but I'm just hoping that it doesn't... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I screwed up. Shoot. I need to kill this robot because my artillery cannot move through it, but I can't kill that robot with my jet because it doesn't have a place to jump over. Oh my god, that's annoying. Okay. Well, what's our backup plan here? Weirdly, I can't actually target this thing with my artillery at all. It cannot reach a space where you can shoot this thing. Oh my god, that's terrible. Okay. I can just reset the turn. Is it worth resetting the turn now, or can I make the most of a bad situation? Well, I can fly the jet over here and hop over the spider and kill it. And then I can just fart smoke on this robot and kill that, leaving the Hornet alive and 2 other enemies. Okay, we'll do that. Hopefully I won't regret this. So we just take a shot and fart some smoke. And end the turn. Okay. Let's see if we can make up for our first crappy turn with a better second turn. Ooh. Oh no, he's freezing the building. Oh, that's perfect. Wow, that was lucky because now I can just push and kill both of these, which is great. It'll also push this Hornet into my artillery mech. Is that something I want to do? It is something I want to do, yes, because then I can use my jet to kill the Hornet before it regenerates, and I can, well, I have a choice. I can shoot this thing with my artillery and kill it, or I can fart smoke on it and block a spawn. I think it's worth blocking a spawn, so I'll just waste a shot. Block a spawn and cancel this thing's attack. And I believe it'll actually take a damage because it regenerates and then oh no! Oh, I'm wrong! The smoke happened first! Wow, so I actually can kill things with the smoke, at least if it's consistent and always does the smoke first before the regeneration. Well, dang. Alright, so 2 turns left. This will be the last spawn. I can't block any more spawns with this guy because it'll die if I do. So I can pick up a time pod, shoot and kill this thing. Okay. It's science time, folks. Gonna go here, kill this guy, and then let's go here and find out if this thing will die from the smoke. You can just block a spawn with your massive amounts of health, and we are gonna let this robot come because there will only be the robot and one other enemy. I should be able to deal with that. Yep, smoke happens before regeneration. Well, now you know. Alright. This is not a problem. We'll shoot and kill this Hornet. Then we damn it. I'm gonna miss out on some experience because I was lazy. I should have pushed the sign into the robot first. Then with 1 damage left on the sign, I should have flown over it with my jet, and then I should have moved the cannon here, the artillery, and shot and killed that thing. But now, if I push, this thing will take a damage and the robot will die. But then my jet mech won't be able to hit this thing because they won't have a place to jump over. I can't push from the other side because this place has smoke. So I think we're just gonna miss out on some experience. Oops, let's not kill the jet for no reason. And then we'll push. Okay, that's fine. So I missed out on 2 experience. It's not the end of the world. I hope my jet mech will have a chance to make that up at some point. Get a time pod, which is at least a power core, and a pilot. After attacking, gain 1 free movement. Nice. It's nice to unlock that pilot. So who do I want to have the free movement? Ooh, what's this? Unlock 6 additional pilots. Nice, got a coin there. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna replace the one that has fewer experience, which is my jet. Probably this is more useful on the artillery mech, because the artillery is more likely to have health to like move and block a spawn, for example. Okay, so I'll micromanage it. Let's do this. Let's put my more experienced pilot into my jet, and let's put this new pilot into the artillery, who has 3 health rather than 2. Okay, and now we have to do 1 more mission. So I can either get greedy and go... Oh, hang on a second. I got a power core. So for this power core, let's go ahead and give you some health to play with. Which means then I really should just put this... Well, no, that health is not going to stick around, because if I get another power core, I'm going to want to get a bonus range. So yeah, we'll just leave it the way it is. So let's go greedy. Let's go for this one. So I have to kill all enemies before they retreat. Alright, this is actually a pretty easy mission, because what happens is they all start out frozen, and I believe 2 break out of the ice each turn. I'm not sure what the strategy is for placement on this one, because I don't know who's going to break out where. What we'll do is just block the buildings, some spots in front of some buildings, and call it a day. So 2 break out, and you have to just basically kill them as they break out, and then you'll be fine. Okay. This is a little bit tricky because I cannot target this thing with my artillery mech. And I can't get my jet mech because my jet mech's frozen. And I cannot target the spider with my artillery mech either. Ha! Oh boy, that's pretty tricky stuff. Well, why don't we do this then? I'm not gonna spend too much time thinking about this. Why don't we just push this Hornet here? Then I can target it with my artillery. It does break the Scion out of the ice, but I don't think it's actually that big of a deal for the Scion to be broken out of the ice. Because he's providing his bonus in the ice, you know? Let's move you forward. He's providing his bonus while he's in the ice anyway, so breaking him out of the ice just means he starts to move around. I don't think it's actually that big of a deal, and I can hit him, I can kill him in one hit with two different mechs. Okay. So now let's think. You could just take this opportunity to kill the Scion, or you can step into this lane and kill this guy, and then you can kill this robot. Is there any way that I can use my pusher to do damage to somebody or to kill somebody? I don't see any obvious way of doing that, so we're not going to overthink it. Let's just shoot and kill that. Let's shoot and kill this. And let's, I don't know, push the Scion up here. Let's see if that actually makes any difference or not. Okay. What's the attack order? You go first. This is actually interesting. If I push this guy into this square, he'll actually shoot and kill the other guy. Which I think is actually worth doing. So yeah, we'll keep it simple. Let's just shoot and kill the Scion. Let's use the pusher to deal with both of these attacks. And then the plane just gets closer to the action for next time. Alright, you guys don't actually have to do anything. Unless I've really missed something. Shoot and kill. And so yeah, now we have just a turn left where there's nothing to do. I think we'll just keep it simple. Who do I want to get experience? I don't know who has an easier time getting experience. I think the artillery's probably got an easier time getting experience. We'll give experience then to my jet. Okay. Well, it didn't end up being so bad. I didn't know it was going to be one of those where they start in the ice and break out, although maybe that's what the kill all enemies mission is always like. Okay, time to fight the boss. Hornet leader usually is not too bad. We'll see if I, have to eat my words here. Let's block spaces adjacent to buildings. See if that's a good strategy or not. These guys are artillery shots, so it doesn't matter too much for them. It might only matter for the Hornet. So typically what you want to do in this mission is have somebody on Hornet duty. I like to have the jet do this, where basically the jet just deals 2 damage to the Hornet every single turn, killing him after 3 turns. Then I can use the artillery to kill off other enemies. And I think in this case that's probably just the better way to go anyways. I'm trying to see if there's any way I can be clever. I don't think so. These artilleries are so spread out. I don't think I could be really any clever with... I can possibly be clever with my smoke farts. So we'll just keep it simple. Let's cancel the attack and do 2 damage to this. See how good it is that I'm canceling an attack and dealing 2 damage? That's really, really strong. Let's just kill this guy. And then we'll simply push... Oops. We'll push this other guy out of the way. So I blocked a spawn, killed a guy. We're going to have to deal with the Hornet and 2 other enemies. It shouldn't be too bad. As long as I can use my pusher to handle one of the enemies, I should be fine. We have a freezy guy. Is he gonna freeze me? Perfect. Oh, that's great. I couldn't be more perfect. Well, it could be more perfect. It could be more perfect if I could somehow kill the spider with a push. That would have been the most perfect thing. As it is, we're gonna just have to have the spider sitting here, because I can't push him into the smoke. If this were not a mountain, I could actually push him into the smoke and kill him. Is there any way I can fart smoke on him or something? Let's see. I can shoot this spider. No, this artillery would have to be pushed twice to that square in order for my artillery to stand here, shoot the spider, kill it, and then fart smoke onto that guy. Okay, so we'll just keep it simple then. We're gonna move you here, kill this guy, level up, nice. Then we're gonna move you where? Well, I can't. This is one of those cases where I wish my guys could switch places, because if I could shoot over here and then have my pusher here, then I could push the spider into the mountain, but I can't have them switch places like that. So this guy is actually in a bad spot. If this had been anywhere else, I would have had an easier time. So what we'll do is just use him to block a spawn, because I don't see any reason to push the spider. We'll hop over here, do 2 more damage to the boss. So now, it's a little tricky actually, because we will have 3 enemies in addition to the boss. So that's 4 total enemies. So I need to be able to do something with double duty in order to be able to prevent any damage. Luckily, one of the enemies is this regenerating Scion, which isn't a super big deal. You can see why paying attention to who the Scions are makes a difference. If this had been like an Armor Scion or like the Blast Scion, basically not something I could just ignore, then I would have a much harder time in this mission. Okay, I think we're okay now because these enemies are wasting their attacks, so I'm just going to finish off the boss, now that we know that smoke happens before regeneration. And I'd basically just have a free action to do whatever I want. I can just push the spider out of the way so he doesn't deal 3 damage and kill my pusher with the spawn block. Is there anything better I can do? I'm trying to see if there's a clever way that I can fart smoke and do something useful. I could actually push the spider here, shoot the Scion and push it into the spider, killing it. That leaves the Hornet alive. I think I actually like that plan. Because the spider with the freeze presents more problems, in my opinion, than the Hornet with its flying. Because I've got this artillery mech that can deal 2 damage, so it's likely to be able to deal with the Hornet, but the spider can freeze somebody and maybe somehow screw everything up terribly. Alright, I think we're good to go here. So just keep it real simple. Push, move, shoot, kill. And you don't even have to do anything. Just do some end of combat repairs. Alright, that was a pretty good island. I'm very happy with how that went. So you can see how, like, this squad, I'm pretty sure that I spent a lot less time thinking about my moves with this squad than with the first squad. Now that the squad is better, and you will find experienced players saying that they love that starting squad, the Riftwalkers, and I think it's like the best squad in the game. So I'm not saying this one's better, but just, you know, there's a certain ease to playing with this squad that is really, really nice. Okay, so we can get this, which is actually not a bad weapon. The problem is I just don't see myself spending power on this weapon when it's a brute class weapon. So it would be, let me just show you real quick. It would be on the jet mech who's got the jump. I mean, this is good enough. You can say, well, there's some utility to having just a ranged attack, but in my experience, as great as it would be to have a ranged attack and a push, I think that just when this weapon is fully developed and can shoot over 2 squares, the fact that this thing has flying and 5 movement eventually is more than good enough. So what I'm gonna do is unlock this pilot. Okay, he's already unlocked. Well, I'm just gonna get 2 stars for selling this pilot. I could potentially put him into a mech, and you know, it's these mech pilots that require a power. Eventually, you have enough power to spare. I just don't like him. I feel like in too many situations he's just not that good. So we'll see. I might just use him because he's actually just as experienced as the generic pilot that I have, and it seems better to use a fancy pilot than a generic pilot, except for the fact that you get an extra star when you sell him. Anyway, let's take a look at what's available here. Freeze yourself on the target. A very cool weapon. Super cool. I don't think I have the setup to take advantage of this, but we'll talk about this. There's another squad in the game that has this as a starting weapon. Mechs heal damage when they deal a killing blow. This is a pretty interesting one. Main issue is that a lot of times will be killing enemies in smoke, so I'm not sure it's worth spending stars on this. I'm not a big fan of this. I think it's probably good. I'm just bad, but I'm not a super big fan. Even though it is free, it's 2 stars. And then the gravel is not a bad weapon. Sometimes just having a pull is good, and it definitely adds some flexibility to my push mech. So what I think I'm gonna do is actually sell this fancy pilot in exchange for this Gravwell, and then we're gonna buy 3 power cores. We're gonna keep this pilot on hand because I don't want to buy grid power, and you don't get to keep reputation. This is the other thing that a YouTube commenter left me. Was a really, really smart piece of advice, is that if you have reputation left over after buying power cores, instead of buying grid power, which is a very marginal thing to spend reputation on, you can buy a weapon that's on sale and then sell it at the end of the next island, essentially carrying over a star, which is a really cool tip, and thank you, I think it was Desgath, for sharing that piece of advice with me. So in that spirit, I'm going to keep useless old Jill Chavez here and sell her on the next island if it helps me get up to a higher multiple of 3 to buy this reactor core. Okay, unfortunately, Chen got the crappy boost, grid defense bonus, sad, but what are you going to do? Let's take a look. We'll put the grab wool in here. Think about where to spend power cores. Definitely don't need to spend anything on this mech, because I've already got bonuses to health and movement, because my pilot's already leveled up, and I can wait on these shields. So what we could do is we could just bite the bullet and put the power cores right here, just to immediately boost the damage. However, I'm going to take a different route. We're going to put 2 in here and get the range bonus. I like the extra utility of this. I could have just put 1 in here and taken off the health, but I've been enjoying that bonus health, so I'm just going to leave it there. And then we're going to put 1 power core onto this mech and get a bonus move. I think that is incredibly helpful. Then the idea is, if we get 2 power cores, we'll take off the move and buff the storm generator. Hopefully, though, by the end of the next island, I'll just be able to get 3 power cores and beef up the storm generator. So that's what we'll buff up at the end of the second island. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.